Hey everyone, Art here from the NintendoKnights podcast, and today we're going to be talking about 10 lost Animal Crossing features that we would like to see return in New Horizons. Number 10. Using a USB keyboard to send a letter to an animal. So in Animal Crossing City Folk, you could actually plug up a keyboard to the Wii console or Wii U if you were using the backwards compatibility, and use that to type out your letters, which is much faster, especially using the Wii remote to point and click letters. This is just a much faster alternative to that, and it's very helpful if you want to send like multiple letters to try to get gifts like different fruit and things like that. You could just type up a bunch of letters really fast and get those sent out to your animals. Number 9. Constellations. Constellations were added first in Animal Crossing Wild World, and then they did return back for City Folk as well. Constellations were just something that you could draw in the sky by connecting different stars to make different shape, and they added a lot of character to your town. It was just another little something to set your town apart, and if people visited at night, they would be able to see constellations in the sky, and different ones would be featured at different times of the year to be front and center. And also when people visited, then your constellations could appear in their sky when they went back home. So it was just something to encourage you to visit other towns, to give you a reason to, but also just to add a little bit of character to your town, and I'd like to see those return in the next game. Number 8 was waving at your animals. This feature was added back in Animal Crossing City Folk for the Wii, and basically how it worked is if you were facing an animal and they were facing you, but you had distance separating you, you could click on them and it would allow you to wave at them, and they would wave back or nod or do something to acknowledge you. It was just a nice little interaction that you could have between your townfolk, and it just gave you one more thing that you could do to really become friends with these villagers. So I'd like to see something like that return in New Horizons and definitely be built upon. Maybe see different emotes and different reactions from the animals based on the emotes you do. Number 7 is the Flea Markets. This was added in Animal Crossing Wild World for the DS and was also included in City Folk for the Wii. This feature allowed for there to be a flea market. In City Folk it took place on the 4th Sunday of the month, and basically it allowed you to buy and sell things with your villagers. So if a villager was inside their house, you could go inside and make an offer on basically any piece of furniture they had. Some they'd be willing to sell, some they wouldn't, and you could try to buy the ones that they would. Then if you hung out inside of your house, they would come visit your house and try to buy furniture from you. They would make offers, and you could either try to make them pay more or less, or just not sell anything at all. So it was a cool feature, especially when they had like a really cool piece of furniture that you really wanted. You could at least have a shot every month to go ahead and buy that off of them, and it also allowed you to get rid of some of your junk and maybe make one of your villagers happy at the same time. So it would definitely be cool to see this feature come back in New Horizons. Number 6 is the Raffle. This was a feature back in Animal Crossing Population Growing for the GameCube, and this feature was basically at the end of every month, Tom Nook would hold a raffle in his shop. You would trade in raffle tickets, 5 of them, for one chance to win an item that he had in his shop, and then it was a random chance to win. Now normally he had rare items, so this would allow for you to earn like NES games and things like that you just normally don't see in his shop. And how it worked is that every time you bought something in his shop during that month, you received a raffle ticket for that month. So if you bought a January piece of furniture, you'd get one January raffle ticket. And then at the end of the month, you could use all your January raffle tickets in groups of 5 to have one spin at the raffle and have a chance at winning a cool prize. It did have some downsides. It caused the shop to be closed for one day. You couldn't buy anything or do any services there, so I'd like to see those kinks worked out if they brought it back for New Horizons. But the idea of having a raffle and just almost like a prize system, a reason to buy furniture from Tom Nook, is definitely a good one, and I'd like to see it come back in some form in New Horizons. Number 5 is the Dump. The Dump was originally in Animal Crossing Population Growing for the GameCube, and it was an acre of land, and the dump basically took up the full acre, but it was outdoors, fenced off, and villagers would drop items there to be thrown away. And so you could go there and basically look through the items to see if there was anything there that you wanted. And then there was also a pickup time on the dump, so you could leave items that you genuinely did want to be trashed but didn't want. So, you know, just drop them on the ground or something like that, and they would get picked up in the dump and basically disappear. The idea did return in Wild World as a recycle bin in the post office, but it was not the same amount of charm as the dump had. It just really didn't feel the same. And so I'd like to see the dump or some area, it could be more environmentally conscious than a dump, but something like that appear in the next game. Number 4 is the city from Animal Crossing City Folk. The city was a central place that you could go and visit on your Animal Crossing City Folk game. And basically it was a collection of shops and special facilities that you could go to outside of your town to buy extra items from what were available in Nooks, as well as see some new features like a hair salon, get new shoes, go see a play to learn emotes. There was a Happy Room Academy store which allowed you to see a showcase room, and there was some townfolk you could meet there as well that didn't live inside of your town. Now the city was cool, but it definitely wasn't completely fleshed out. It could have been more, and so I would like to see some sort of upgraded version makes its way into Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 3 is non-holiday events. In Animal Crossing for the GameCube, you could participate in a sports day as well as morning aerobics at certain times of the year, and I thought these were just a nice touch to give your village character without being an actual known holiday. So these were just Animal Crossing specific things. Now morning aerobics is based off of a show in Japan, but for the most part it's its own thing in the Animal Crossing universe. It would just be nice to see something like this return, just to add more stuff to do with your villagers, and more stuff to see in the game. So we definitely like to see some more non-holiday events in the game. Number 2 is asking your villagers for work at any time. This was a great feature for Animal Crossing in the GameCube because it allowed you to have extra stuff to do at any moment on the game, because you could always go look for jobs from your villagers. Now this usually just sent you on a fetch quest for them, but it was still nice to be able to just go find something to do. They usually rewarded you with bells or an outfit, stationery, but sometimes they would also give you good furniture. And so it was definitely worth doing, and when you were bored and you had already finished all your tasks for the day, it definitely just gave you a little something extra to keep you playing. So we would definitely like to see these return in the new game, and maybe even have a little more detail than just fetch quests. Maybe it would be, I want you to write letters, or something like that, just to add a little more detail to the game. Number 1 is a feature that might be not as well known about because this actually only existed in the Japanese GameCube version of the game. But basically what you could do is after Tom Nook's store had closed, you could take your shovel and hit his door a few times, and eventually he would wake up and answer the door in pajamas and let you in to go shopping. Now Tom Nook would walk slow and be very groggy because he had been woken up, and because of this he would only offer the buying and selling features. You couldn't look at your catalog or anything like that. And on top of that, he would actually charge you extra for all the items in his shop and give you less for all your sell items. But it did give you an option to actually access the shops after hours. So if you were playing late at night and needed something to do, you could balance the risk reward of taking less money for your fish or whatever you were doing in order to let you continue making progress even into the night. I think a feature like this would be nice because Animal Crossing definitely has a problem of not having enough to do after dark. And so I think this is a nice way to balance that. And that was 10 things I would like to see return to the Animal Crossing series that has been missing. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please leave a comment if there's anything that you would like to see return to the series that you did not see in this video that I missed. And please leave a like on the video. It would mean a lot to me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead and check out the podcast, streaming anywhere podcasts play, as well as right here on YouTube. Episode 2 is coming out very soon, and it would mean a lot if you let us know what you thought about it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.